Hi, thank you for joining us on this episode of Sports Bets for Free. My name is Scott Jenkins, your host. Just a local sports bettor here in Phoenix, Arizona. And hopefully today with our picks and your picks, it's going to be another profitable day for you. Friday, March 1st, basketball slate. Ton of stuff going on basketball today. We've got small college slate, but a 9-game NBA slate to get into. So we will get started with all these bets that we have going on, all the action that we got. Another great day yesterday. So 2 out of the last 3, we had a 300 unit plus day, 200 unit plus day. Then we, had 180 units down one day. So still up over 300 units for the 2 days on that one. So we'll take that for the 3 days, I should say. We'll take that every day and 3 times on Sunday. Keep making some money and roll on with life. So we'll get started with college basketball. First game that we're on in college basketball is going to be Dayton traveling to Loyola Chicago. The old Sister Jean story of Loyola Chicago from a few years back. In the tournament, Dayton, best team in the AAC, played well all season long. Been a little bit of up and down on the road. Not necessarily that they've played horrible on the road. Just ran into some teams that played really well. Loyola Chicago is one of those teams that does play extremely well at home. They struggled a little bit on the road as of late as well. So I think getting back home, getting that home cooking in a late Friday night game. 7 o'clock out here, so 8 o'clock Central Time for a game tip-off on Friday night. We will roll with Loyola Chicago here, getting the 1.5. Staying away from the total at 137.5, but Loyola Chicago plus a half, first half, plus 1.5 for the game. Loyola Chicago plus a half, first half, and plus 1.5 for the game. Next game up, Nevada at home against Fresno State. Couple Mountain West matchups that we got to finish out the night. Nevada, one of the better teams in the Mountain West, have played extremely well. They're just tough to beat. You got to put a solid plan together to beat Nevada out in the Mountain West Conference. And they've been really tough at home. Fresno State has been towards the bottom of the pack in this conference. Pretty decided advantage here. Nevada doesn't normally they normally beat up the teams they're supposed to beat, and they're competitive with teams maybe that are better than them. So we like the fact that it's only 14.5 here, stay under that 15 mark. So Nevada minus we are rolling with Nevada here, minus 8 has 8.5 first half, minus 14.5 for the game. One more time, Nevada minus 8.5 first half, minus 14.5 for the game. Last game in college basketball we're on, Air Force traveling to Utah State. Air Force played the game of their year, going to New Mexico, winning that game on the road. Still haven't figured out how they did that. I've watched that game and rewatched that game in the second half, especially in New Mexico, gave Air Force all the opportunities to do it, to win, and they finally took advantage of one and ended up getting that victory in Albuquerque. The same's not going to happen here tonight. Utah State, one of the best teams in the Mountain West. They have played extremely well. They had, maybe a 3-4 game stretch where it was a little hit and miss, but that's pretty common throughout almost every team. Even the best teams in the country have those couple games or 3-4 games where they're kind of like maybe just off a little bit or not dominating the conference like they should. Utah State's already had that. They should have no problem tonight against Air Force. And this line has already moved. It opened at 16.5. It went down to 15.5. Now it's back to 16.5. And we like Utah State here quite a bit. So Utah State minus 9.5 first half, minus 16.5 for the game. Utah State minus 9.5 first half, minus 16.5 for the game. And if you like Utah State here, get in quick and get to it, because this line already looks like it just moved to minus 120 as well in a couple books. So you want to jump on top of this and get ahead of the move here before it ends up being 17.5 on that. Now we'll get into the NBA slate. 9 games going on tonight. First game out of the chute, Cavs going to Cleveland. So the Pistons, they're tied for the worst record in the NBA, but they're not, in my opinion, not playing like the worst team in the NBA. They had that 28-game losing streak. They actually seem to care on whether they win or lose games, unlike the Wizards with the other worst team in the league. They don't seem to give a crap. They actually have pieces to kind of build around. Cunningham, I think, is a fantastic player, future all-star in the league. Jaden Ivey could be a nice third piece on the team. Jalen Duren, On the interior is a good rebounder, rim protector, and a guy that can get you buckets without really having to dominate the ball quite a bit. So I think they have some nice pieces there. They could use some shooting. They could use a couple more wings. But they have overall nice pieces, I think, there to build on for the future. I think they have the right coach. Monty Williams was loved down here in Phoenix. They came up short on the championship against the Bucks on an opportunity to win it. But, I mean, he took a team with Chris Paul, who's older than old, Devin Booker, an emerging, definitely an all-star emerging superstar, and DeAndre Ayton, the most overhyped center, number one pick, in the last 15 years, and then took them to an NBA Finals. But obviously getting shipped to Detroit, we knew things were going to be tough for a while as he's trying to rebuild the Pistons into a brand in the East. That's going to take some work, and it's more than anything else, it's going to take some players. Cavs, on the other hand, were the hottest team heading into the All-Star break. They have struggled a little bit coming out of the All-Star break. Donovan Mitchell's been a big reason of it. He was out sick for 2 games. Missed both of those. Those were both losses. He struggled a little bit in this few games since then. I mean, they got a huge win over the Mavs with a 55-foot shot from Max Strus as a buzzer beater to win that game. Otherwise, they lose that one as well. So they've been a little cold coming out of the break. The Pistons have hung tough, but we think the Cavs get the job done in Cleveland. I'm sorry, not in Cleveland, in Detroit tonight. But we do have quite a few player props. We've got a couple of players identified that we think are going to have monsters as well. So let's get into those bets. So we're going to take the Cavs minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 5.5 first half, minus 8.5 for the game. We also like the over in this particular matchup. They've played 3 times before. The over would have hit once and would have hit by 20, 30 points. The other 2 games were under, but we expect a couple guys to have big offensive nights, and we're leaning towards the over. So over 56.5 first quarter, over 113.5 first half, over 221 for the game. Then we also expect Cade Cunningham for the Pistons to have a big night, over 22.5 points. We'll also bet 25-plus points and 30-plus points, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, over 34.5 par. We also like Ausar Thompson from the Pistons to get some rebounds, 6+ rebounds, 8+ rebounds. He's been a guy, 3-and-D type guy, just needs to be focused a little bit maybe on the scoring for future years, but he definitely can rebound the ball and play some defense. Like I said, we mentioned Donovan Mitchell before. We expect him to have a bounce-back night tonight, get this thing rolling for the end here. So Mitchell, 25-plus points, 30-plus points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, and 5+ threes. And also Donovan Mitchell over 2.5 turnovers. So one more time in this Cavs-Pistons matchup, Cavs minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 5.5 first half, minus 8.5 for the game. We'll go the over as well, 56.5 first quarter, 113.5 first half, over 221 for the game. Cunningham over 22.5 points, 25-plus points, 30-plus points, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, and 4+ threes. Over 34.5 par as well. Ausar Thompson for the Pistons, 6+ rebounds, 8+ rebounds. Donovan Mitchell, 25-plus points, 30-plus points. Also 3+ threes, 4+ threes, 5+ threes, and Mitchell over 2.5 turnovers. Most heavily bet game we got. It's the first game out of the chute in the NBA here, so we've got a lot of bets on that particular matchup here. Next game up, 76ers at the Hornets. So if you're the number 2 pick in the NBA draft, obviously you're excited because you're the number 2 pick in the NBA draft. And this we're talking about Brandon Miller. And then you go to the Hornets and you've got no LaMelo, Miles Bridges as doing Miles Bridges things. And you've got no Gordon Hayward. You really don't have no PJ Washington. Are you just looking around going, can we just please get this season over with? And we still have a roughly 5 to 6 weeks to go. Ugh. He's got to be sitting there questioning, what the hell am I doing here? But the Hornets have looked like they've quit in a lot of games. They ended up getting a push in the last game, even though they lost by 12 to the Bucks. But when you're getting beat by an average of 30-plus by the Bucks for the first 3 games of the whole season, I guess only losing by 12 is a step in the right direction. Miles Bridges, turning the ball over a ton lately. Brandon Miller's had good scoring nights. His minutes are a little inconsistent. The rotations don't make a ton of sense to me, but I'm not the NBA coach here. I would think with as many guys as they're down, Brandon Miller would be getting 35 minutes a night to really see what he can do and kind of push the rookie, but it hasn't necessarily been the case as of yet. But the 76ers, on the other hand, so with Embiid, one of the top teams in the East. Without Embiid, definitely not. And it's been even worse. Tobias Harris, who used to be a third, fourth option for this team, looks like a guy making way too much money and at the end of his contract. Then you've got Tyrese Maxey, who is a fantastic player, all-star, but I wish he'd be a little bit more aggressive offensively early in the game. I think it really does turn things for these guys. It gets like Buddy Hield a lot more wide open looks. It gets Paul Reed more dunks. It seems he scores more points and then seems a little bit more to rebound a little bit harder. So, Maxey, if he could take a little bit more offensive control early instead of being a little passive, trying to get everybody involved would help. But a lot of guys do this. Halliburton does this. He's not very aggressive at the start of the game, tries to get everybody else going. And I understand that, but when you're the best player on the team, sometimes you got to take control of it and score and maybe open things up for later for guys on that as well. Anthony Edwards does this a lot in Minnesota as well. So this is not just a common theme for Maxey. There's two other guys, Anthony Edwards and Halliburton, I'd like to see take a little bit more control early as well. Just kind of, they're the best player on the floor. Let them know about it, right? So don't necessarily like the side or the total with the 76ers being an 11.5-point favorite and a 214 total on this game, but we love some player props, and they normally involve on Philly games under on Tobias Harris. So under 17.5 points for Harris, under 26.5 par points, assists, rebounds combined. Miles Bridges over 2.5 turnovers. And then we like Maxey to have a big night tonight facing that non-existent defense for Charlotte. So Maxey over 26.5 points and over 30-plus points. And then also Maxey over 36.5 par. So one more time in the 76ers and Hornets matchup, Tobias Harris under 17.5 points, under 26.5 par. Those have been cashing at magical rates. It's ridiculous. It doesn't matter what the points total is. He always seems to be under it lately. And then we've also got Miles Bridges over 2.5 turnovers. Maxey over 26.5 points, 30-plus points, and also over 36.5 par. One of the more exciting games of the night. Next game up, Mavs going to the Celtics. Celtics 9-point favorite, 237.5 total. The number's a little bit bigger than probably expected. This is the Mavs' third road game in 4 nights. Celtics rested here. A little bit of revenge game, I think, on both sides a little bit. The Celtics obviously have Porzingis now. He was with the Mavs. Maybe he wants to show up his old team. Kyrie Irving used to be with the Celtics quite a long time ago. Now at the Mavs, maybe he wants to show up his old team. Luka, obviously one of the best players in the league. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown have played well. The big difference, I think, for the Celtics so far this season has definitely been Porzingis. When they seem to put out a small lineup for the other team, Porzingis goes down the middle and they beat him up in the paint a little bit. Otherwise, it is the best three-point shooting team in the Celtics in the league. They take the most, they make the most. Often, Drew Holiday's been a world of difference on the defensive side. If you thought Marcus Smart was, best defensive player in the league, take a look at what Drew Holiday draws on a nightly basis. And I expect him to probably have Luka quite a bit tonight on that. And that's a matchup he can handle, whether it's in the paint or up top. I expect him to be able to handle that matchup. He'll definitely guard him, Kyrie. He'll draw the best offensive player on the floor. On that one. I just think situationally wise here, it's a tough night for the Mavericks. Celtics get out and get this win. And not necessarily cruise, but a double-digit win shouldn't be a huge problem for them tonight. So Celtics minus 3.5 first quarter, minus 5.5 first half, minus 9 for the game. And then we're focused on Porzingis here quite a bit, Drew Holiday, and one small wager on Luka. Porzingis, 20-plus points, 25-plus points, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, over 30.5 par, and then 2+ blocks and 3+ blocks. We also like Drew Holiday for 2+ threes and 3+ threes tonight. And then Luka for 4+ turnovers. I expect the length of the Celtics to bother him when he's trying to pass the ball all over the place. And Jrue Holiday, like I said, should draw him quite a bit. Or Tatum. I mean, he's got a tough defensive matchup here tonight. Luka's point prop, 31, 32.5. If we were going to lean one way, a bit under. He's been a little too hot to probably play the under on Luka on that one, but that's the way we would lean on that one. But we'll just take the Luka 4+ turnovers. So one more time in this Celtics-Mavs matchup, Celtics -3.5 first quarter, -5.5 first half, -9 for the game. Porzingis 20+ points, 25+ points, 2+ threes, 3+ threes, over 30.5 par, 2+ blocks, 3+ blocks. Jrue Holiday 2+ threes, 3+ threes. Luka 4+ turnovers. Next game up on the slate, Warriors at the Raptors. Warriors get an impressive win at the Knicks last night. They just came out and kind of bamboozled them in the first quarter. Ran up to it was a 14-0 run for sure, 17-4. Just kind of beat them up out of the gate and kind of just held that point for the rest of the game. Jalen Brunson had a decent one. DiVincenzo did not shoot the ball well, went 2 for 11 from three-point range. Steph Curry finally got back on track, scoring 30. He'd been struggling for 4 or 5 game stretch. Jonathan Kuminga had another great game, 20+ points. Draymond got 10+ rebounds. They played well. Then they got a back-to-back going tonight to Toronto. They are a 3-point favorite, 235.5 total here. Just multiple games on the road. They are if you really look at that Warriors road record against the number has been pretty fantastic all season long. They're 65% plus. So they're definitely making you some money if you just played them on the road against the number all season long. But the Raptors, Emmanuel Quickley's kind of turned it around here as of late. He's played extremely well. He's been shooting the ball well. Scotty Barnes has forgot where his 3-point stroke went, but he's been still getting to the ball. He's been getting a ton of rebounds. And he still gets, close to around his 20 points tonight as well to go with all those rebounds. So we do expect a good game out of both sides. We don't like the number at 3, and we don't like the total at 235. The Raptors can either come out, if they're blazing from 3, that number go way over. If they're cold from 3, that number go way under. So we just play some player props in this particular matchup here. Emmanuel Quickley we like quite a bit. So Quickley 20+ points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, and also over 29.5 par. Jonathan Kuminga over 18.5 points. We'll keep riding him on that one. Draymond Green will go back to the well. He did not attempt a 3 last night, but he had been hitting a 3 almost every game for the previous 6 before that. So we'll go back to the 1+ 3 for Draymond. We'll also take Draymond, 8+ rebounds, 10+ rebounds. 10+ rebounds was +290 on DraftKings. He just got to 10 last night. I don't foresee where the Raptors are that much a better rebounding team. So 10+ rebounds again. Draymond over 13.5 rebounds and assists. And Steph Curry over 2.5 turnovers. As the Raptors do have some length and cause some bad passes for sure. So one more time, Raptors, Warriors. We've got Emmanuel Quickley, 20+ points, 3+ threes, 4+ threes, over 29.5 par. Steph Curry over 2.5 rebounds. Jonathan Kuminga over 18.5 points. Draymond Green 1+ 3 pointer made, 8+ rebounds, 10+ rebounds, and over 13.5 rebounds plus assists. Next game up on the schedule, we're going to be Pacers going to the Pelicans. Currently 5-point favorite are the Pelicans at home. 239 total. Pelicans have been going through some injuries. Zion's been he's been solid. I mean, he had a couple down games there, but 25-5 is never a bad thing from Zion. His point total always seems to be kind of a struggle. It's always around 22 to 24.5. It seems like, and it seems like he gets there barely, or he doesn't get there. So we'll stay away from the Zion points tonight, as the Pacers don't necessarily have the best defense in the league. I think Pascal Siakam can create a few problems, but Zion can muscle his way down low. Pacers are not a good rebounding team. Pelicans are. But all that being said, the Pacers, though, with Halliburton as aggressive, this team wins ball games and covers. Getting 5 points in our pocket on this one, we like that one. So we'll ride with the Pacers tonight. Pacers plus 1.5 first quarter, plus 2.5 first half, plus 5 for the game. All-star Tyrese Halliburton over 18.5 points, 3 plus threes, 4 plus threes, and over 32.5 par. And Jonas Valanciunas for the Pelicans, 10 plus rebounds, was plus 125 on DraftKings. And like I mentioned, the Pacers are one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. So one more time, Pacers plus 1.5 first quarter, plus 2.5 first half, plus 5 for the game. Halliburton over 18.5 points, 3 plus threes, 4 plus threes, over 32.5 par. And Valanciunas, 10 plus rebounds. Next game up on the slate should be an interesting one here. T-Wolves Kings. T-Wolves back at home again. They have a lot of home games to make up. They played a ton of road games in the first half. So I think that for them, they got a really great shot here as they're still the number 1 seed. Currently, they have a game lead with a lot of home games in the next 25. They have a great chance to get the number 1 seed overall. Kings. So, a team they beat 3 times in the Nuggets on their last game out. They take a big first quarter lead and then just got absolutely trounced for the next 3 quarters. De'Aaron Fox did not play. Don't know why. He wasn't on the injury report till late. Now all of a sudden he's a game time decision for today. Anthony Edwards he's been smoking out of the All-Star break, no question about it. Big Cat's missed a game or 2. Rudy Gobert's missed a game or 2. Anthony Edwards has kind of held up everything while they've been gone. Grizzlies, they did get a couple wins. They weren't extremely impressive, but, sometimes their defense just wins the games. And definitely not their offense. But if they have a full array back tonight, definitely expect the T-Wolves to be dangerous. But this 6 numbers probably represent, maybe they don't know if De'Aaron Fox is going to play. If he doesn't, I think this goes to 8 immediately. So there's a lot of good value here. And the Kings are not fabulous on the road either. So T-Wolves -2 first quarter, -3.5 first half, -6 for the game. Anthony Edwards over 28.5 points. Anthony Edwards 30 plus points, 35 plus points. He has scored 30 plus against this team in all the games so far they played this season. Karl Anthony Towns 3 plus threes. Rudy Gobert over 13.5 rebounds and 2 plus blocks. Anthony Edwards is again over 39.5 par. And De'Aaron Fox over 2.5 turnovers if he plays. Not quite sure if he's going to play yet or not, but we shall see on that one. So one more time, T-Wolves -2 first quarter, -3.5 first half, -6 for the game. Anthony Edwards over 28.5 points, 30 plus points, 35 plus points, over 39.5 par. Karl Anthony Towns 3 plus threes. Also, Rudy Gobert over 13.5 rebounds and 2 plus blocks. And De'Aaron Fox over 2.5 turnovers. Next game up, this might be one of the worst games in the NBA in quite some time. Trailblazers heading to Memphis. Yay! Can't wait. Memphis is actually a 1.5 point favorite, 208 total. So let's look at this just from strictly a number standpoint. Totals at 208, which is one of the lowest scoring totals out there. Definitely tonight, but for the season. Anthony Simons for the Trailblazers. Point total, though, went up 3 points as he comes off a game where he actually hit some shots last time at home. His definitely shooting percentage and everything else goes down on the road. So how the hell are they? I don't understand where they come up with the number on the book. I understand it's the Grizzlies, so when you play the Grizzlies, all of a sudden all your point totals and par totals and everything else go up. I think that's what's going on here. So this is an opportunity, I think, to really catch the book off guard. But we're just player props in this one for us. Simons under 25.5 points, under 3.5 threes, under 35.5 par, but over 3.5 turnovers. As the Grizzlies can muck it up probably better than anybody else in the league. So one more time, Blazers, Grizzlies, just player props and all on Anthony Simons. Under 25.5 points, under 3.5 threes, over 3.5 turnovers, and under 35.5 par. Next game up on the slate, Bulls, Bucks. This is an extreme late start after 9 o'clock Central Time in Chicago. Bucks, 5th game at 8 nights. So maybe a little fatigue here. Bulls have been, Bulls have won one of these games so far. And Kobe White's actually had a really good run against the Bucks so far this season. as the Bucks have struggled to, defend the three as they have all year. That hasn't changed even with Doc Rivers coming into being the head coach. The line has shifted from 4 to 4.5 for the Bulls. I'll be really honest here. I just see situationally wise, it's a good catch here for the Bulls. I think getting a couple points or a few points at home, catching the Bucks. The Bucks have played a couple games back to back against Charlotte. They should be pretty well rested as Giannis didn't play a ton of minutes in any of the games against the Hornets. But like I said, the Bulls are a little inconsistent. It's a little hard to read, but this is just situational fade of the Bucks with that fifth game at 8 nights. Total at 222.5 as well on this one, but we do like the Bulls here. So Bulls plus a half first quarter, plus 2 first half, plus 4 for the game. Like I said, you can get that now on DraftKings at 4.5, so even better for you. Kobe White, 20 plus points, 25 plus points, 3 plus threes, 4 plus threes, and 5 plus threes. Also over 31.5 par. And then we're going to take Giannis under 11.5 rebounds and over 3.5 turnovers. So one more time in this Bulls-Bucks matchup. Bulls plus a half first quarter. Bulls plus 2 first half. Bulls plus 4 for the game. Kobe White for the Bulls, 20 plus points, 25 plus points. He did have a 30 plus point a game against them. And 20, he's had multiple 20s. The last couple games that these two teams have played has also went to overtime. So keep that in mind. Kobe White, 3 plus threes, 4 plus threes, 5 plus threes, and over 31.5 par. Giannis under 11.5 rebounds and over 3.5 turnovers. Last game of the night, Wizards, Clippers. So Wizards, like I said, don't look like they're trying much, but extend the Lakers to go into overtime last night. As the Lakers obviously being favored double digits, why would we not just blow a team away and get some rest? Let's let LeBron play 40 minutes and AD play over 40 minutes and against a team that's the worst record in the league. I mean, seriously, that's the best you guys can do? We couldn't put a better effort together first half, third quarter, fourth quarter in order to and they were trailing for most of the game, the Lakers were. So once again, don't understand what the hell they're doing. Not many people do, but it is LeBron. So LeBron makes shit happen. He knew they needed that. That's a game you can't give away. Unlike the Thunder and the Spurs last night, the Thunder cannot give that game away. If they want the number 1 seed in the West, they can't give that game away against the Spurs. It doesn't matter if the Spurs are shooting 80%. You've got to play tougher defense. You've got to figure out a way to make that. You can't give those games away. Same thing for the Clippers. If they plan on making a run towards the top of the Western Conference with 20 plus to go, this is a game they cannot give away. They are 15.5 point favorite, a total of 238.5. And can somebody please explain to me why there's not more player props available on this game, except on players that are game time decisions? Where's James Harden, Kawhi Leonard in this mess? No player props available on them at DraftKings or FanDuel, either site. But there was on Paul George, who's a game time decision. And Paul George has done one thing for us lately, and that's cash on the under points and par, and even threes. He's been just straight money for us. We appreciate all the extra money. But I don't understand why the books can't post a number. If the bet gets voided, it gets voided. It's not that, maybe they don't want the parlays getting voided or whatever, but it does not make any sense to me why there's not James Harden and Kawhi Leonard props. That being said, until there are those props, we're not going to probably play a side. We really want to play the Clippers here. The Wizards on a back-to-back. I think they gave all the effort that they had last night. I don't see them putting up a strong one tonight, but I just don't know if Kawhi and Harden are going to play. So make sure you do check out the Google Sheets at the end of the show. In the comment section, you will see a link. It says docs.google.spreadsheet, bunch of other stuff behind it. That'll get you a link into our ledger of all of our bets, what juice we got those at, how many units, what book we placed them at, and then also the result once the game's finished as well. So, feel free to check those out. The only 2 bets we have so far on this one are Paul George under 19.5 points and under 28.5 par. One more time, Paul George under 19.5 points and under 28.5 par. And we'll have more for you on that once they become available. So like I mentioned, make sure you do check out the Google Sheets. It's docs.google.spreadsheet, a bunch of other stuff to find it. There's a link right in the comment section. hit the link. It'll get you in there. There's going to be multiple tabs underneath, depending on what sport you're looking at, because we bet on a ton of different sports. So there's football from 22-23, football from 23-24, baseball 23. We have futures for baseball at 24, basketball 23-24, which we're in right now. And then also golf, Formula One, and some kind of not mainstream sports that we have kind of all lumped together on there. So we don't have like 40 sheets going on. But make sure you do check that out as a ledger of everything that we do. So check that out when you get some time, and you can follow along. We're a volume better, so there's no way to sit there and probably write everything down as we go along. Plus, you can see the amount of units that we bet on the games as well, because we kind of go through maybe some juice on it, but we go through the bets for the most part. And then if you're also looking for books and stuff like that to place bets at, you can see where we place those. So make sure you check that out when you get some time. And as always, if you can subscribe and get notifications to our YouTube channel, makes life extremely simple. Once you hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on for YouTube. You'll get a notification to your phone or device to let you know Sports Bets for Free has dropped a new episode of bets. Give you plenty of time to match them up with your bets and give you that ton of confidence you need heading to the betting app or betting window so we can make some money. I do appreciate everybody's support as always, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.